Hi guys! It is Hunter's birthday in a couple of days, so it's time to make him a cake. I shared a recipe for Mojo's birthday cake that I made 4 years ago now when she turned 3. And I thought I'd make a new one. That video was quite simple and it showed it just with music, and I thought I would do a more in-depth one and a little bit more difficult. I think it turned out very nice. I already made it and I'm now just filming the intro. So this will be a raw cake based on pre-made raw food to keep it slightly balanced and not upset my dog's tummy too much. It does have some ingredients that might not be great in the amount that I'm adding them, but for once a year that shouldn't really matter. I'm using around 1 kilogram of raw food in this cake, which means that because they eat 300 grams each approximately, they'll be sharing it amongst the 3 of them. It's a frozen cake, but that's just for presentation's sake. They won't be eating it frozen. Some dogs can eat frozen food. Mine will just try to swallow it whole and then choke. So I'll be thawing it completely. So that's how I will be offering it. You can feed it frozen if you think that that's safe and delicious for your dogs. Now, the way I can describe this cake, it's gonna be a 2-tier naked layer cake, made not of cake but of raw food, with some kefir and coconut oil to present the icing layers in the middle, as well as some mashed berries to add a pop of color in one of the layers. And then I'll be decorating it with more coconut oil, some dog treats and some frozen raspberries. I hope that you'll enjoy this video and that you will recreate this cake or even a small version of it. If you do, then definitely tag us on Instagram if you make it and share a picture. We'd love to see, and we would also love to hear how you usually celebrate your dog's birthday. We definitely go and do something that the dog really likes, so for him that will just be a very long forest walk and some fun activities like frisbee and obedience training, because that's what he loves most. And we always make a cake for every single birthday. And this is the first time that I'm making a cake that's big enough for them to share, so the girls will be happy as well. Alright, so without further ado, let's make a birthday cake. In today's recipe, we'll be using 2 round cake tins, a 6-inch one, a 4-inch one. Both are 3 inches tall. We'll be using some grease-proof paper, a circle cutter, as well as the tin that it came in, and a spoon. For the ingredients, I'm using 4 varieties of pre-made raw, half a pound each, some organic kefir, I have no clue how to pronounce it in English, some organic raspberries, coconut oil, and a variety of small and bigger treats. I cut some parchment paper to size and I will now stick them in place with a bit of olive oil. The parchment paper is optional. I think you can dunk the tins in some hot water and then it should come out, but I've tried it in the past, it didn't work as easily as I wanted, so that's why I'm adding the parchment paper. Alright, here you go. Lined tins, and I think dunking them into hot water shortly will thaw the olive oil very quickly, and then I should be able to take the pies out quite easily, I think. Now I'm starting off with a layer of pre-made raw at the base of each tin. If you use 6-inch and 4-inch tins, If you use 6-inch and 4-inch tins, you'll put 30% in the 4-inch tin and 70% in the 6-inch tin, and that should give an equal height of both layers. starting off with a rabbit pre-made raw. Alright, now that both tins have one layer of meat, I'll put them in the freezer for 15 to 30 minutes so the surface is a bit more solid, and I'll pour a layer of kefir on top. It's been around 15 minutes and I'm now adding the kefir until I no longer see any meat on the surface. I do recommend using parchment paper because the milk would usually stick to the frozen tin, but because the paper is grease proof, it doesn't stick and it goes back to a flat surface, so you don't have anything on the sides, which is very nice. It will make the cake a lot more pretty. Alright, it's time for another layer of meat. This time we have got chicken. In order to flatten and smoothen the surface, I'm going to try to use this lid because the spoon didn't really work for me. Nope, back to the spoon. Now it's time to top it with melted coconut oil. This should solidify quite quickly. I'll put it back into the freezer for around 5 minutes and then it's time for the next step. Now while the coconut oil is solidifying, I'll mash these berries and they'll go on top. Hey, nay! And that will be covered in another layer of coconut oil. It was cloudy when we started filming, but now the sun is beaming in, so the lighting is poor, so we changed locations. It's time for the raspberry now. I hope that it'll add a pop of color in the middle of the cake. I hope that we can see it peek through at the edge. We'll see it revealed at the end. I'm leaving the middle empty to add some dog treats there. So these are just some pieces of dried meat. I think they're beef or tripe. Alright, so these go in the freezer to set and then we'll top it with some more coconut oil. Alright, here comes the next coat of coconut oil. Doesn't really have to cover the middle. Just would like for it to make a white edge. I forgot to hit record. We are adding a third layer of meat. So this is lamb pre-made raw. And I'm adding a final layer of kefir. Making sure to spread it to the edges, but not really caring to add a whole lot more. Right, it's time to put it in the freezer and we'll add one more layer after this. Now it's a lot later and it's getting dark, so we're back on the other side of the room. We're using this circle cutter to create a donut shape of meat around the edge, and you'll see what this is going to turn into later on. went to the freezer overnight. It's the next morning and I just picked the cakes from the freezer. They're frozen completely solid. I'll now dunk them in some hot water and see if the parchment paper comes loose and if the cakes come out easily. If not, I'll dunk them in some hot water for a bit longer so that the meat also thaws. So I'll let you know. That was incredibly easy. I just ran some cold tap water along the edges of the tins and I held the tins upside down and they just easily slid out. I'm now going to remove the parchment paper to reveal the edges and show you a close-up. Oh, this is looking amazing. Wow. Doesn't this look stunning? Better than I could have imagined. So this will form the base layer and I reversed the smaller one and that will go on top. Now I have to try to fill the cavity with some treats, put some like a spatula underneath and transfer it here and slide the spatula away to have a secret pocket of treats in the middle. It is quite slanted, so I will have to put some treats underneath here and I'll try to cover that with like a ring of coconut oil around. But yeah, very happy. It's gonna be a huge cake, so it's good that I have 3 dogs. I grabbed some extra tools for the final step. Got this bottle with melted coconut oil, which will be easier than just using a spoon. And I'll be using this dough scraper to flip the cake that has treats in it to put on top here, where we will also have some treats. I hope that that works. If not, meh. Alright, it is time to decorate. I'm now drizzling some coconut oil on the top and leaving it drip to the sides like you would a glaze. Now, since it's Hunter's first birthday, I'm gonna create the number 1 on top of the cake with this treat. So I'll cut it at an angle to create the stem. And then I'll cut an extra bit. And now we'll add some treats all around the cake. Hi, hey. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you recreate the cake, send us a picture on Instagram so that we can share it. And leave a comment below if you have made a birthday cake like this or different before. I'd love to hear your recipes and thoughts. And for now, have fun with your dogs this week and we'll see you again on Sunday. Goodbye!